I'm house appropriate.
We doing
I'm
this show
lounge appropriate.
lounge appropriate.
Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sippin' with the Simpkins. I'm your girl, Michael, and this is my co-host and husband.
And I'm Ray. What's good, folks?
We are talking about today careers and dreams, the balancing act, managing career evolution and midlife ambitions. I'm struggling a little bit with that midlife piece. However, the body has been telling me it's every bit midlife, but mentally, like, I'm just not really coming to terms with that. But it is what it
We
is.
can get into all of that.
Oh my word.
What you sipping on? We're sipping a little something different. Today's tea. You got
It's
tea,
tea.
right?
It's a cold, dreary day here in the MKE, some snow flurries. It's just a tea kind of day.
It's one of them tea days.
Yeah. And we've been just trying to get our herbs in a little differently lately. So we've been on this little tea kick for the last, week and a half or so.
For sure.
Although we just got this great espresso machine that we just love. So we had this little stint of coffees that we were making in lattes. And then we're like, okay, enough of that espresso and caffeine.
Right.
So we're having tea today. You ready?
I'm ready.
It's been a little bit. It's been a little minute since we've been on here. It's hard to get this guy. CEOs are hard to be in touch with and schedule. Like that schedule's wild. So I couldn't get him. So we have him here today.
I'm back at it.
We're able to record.
Hold that thought.
Yes. Yeah, I keep telling him, like, we need to do back-to-back episodes so we can get them in and we can drop them regularly. So bear with us. Stay tuned. Continue to like, subscribe, share, comment. Again, we would love to engage with you all, get your feedback, talk to us, and we're going to keep them coming. Anyway, he's not heard these questions, and he always is like...
Freestyle.
Yes, but you also... We said before, this really isn't his thing. It's a little out of his comfort zone. So for him not to see the questions and be in the hot seat a bit, it's going to be interesting. But it's cool. Question number 1. When did career ambition shift from survival to meaning?
From survival to meaning. For me, it's just once I got into my career field and realized that I actually enjoyed it and was able to learn a lot from it. Survival was the piece where I felt like after we were pregnant, about to have a baby, that was survival.
Right, so when did it shift from survival to meaning?
Well, when I started to realize that retail was a space that I could, thrive in.
Okay.
I don't know exactly when that happened. I can remember times where as a young co-manager in my early careers, you're managing people twice your age, has been in the business a long time. So those transitions and those feelings and stuff can be troublesome.
Sure.
To make you feel like, is this an area I should be in or not? Nobody wants to listen to the young dude coming on board thinking he know everything, trying to change their whole life. But nonetheless, there was a point in time where I realized like this is definitely a space I could thrive in. Started getting recognition and promotion, and that's kind of was the shift for me.
Yeah.
I never left retail after that.
I would say that we shifted from survival to meaning probably after we sold our first house and moved into our second house. To me, it was like we were still just trying to rid ourselves of some debt that we acquired early on when we were in survival mode. We had some student loan debt that was kind of kicking our butts and just getting a grip on some of those things financially, then getting to a place where you and I both were making a good living wage and able to pay our bills and have a little something extra and not be struggling. So I would say, I think it was probably around 2013, 2012, 2013. I think that's when the real shift came for me. And then I start to see things differently and just the struggle it was just a lot different. And we talked about that before. It was almost like I remember driving in this particular neighborhood and thinking like, oh, it must be really nice to live in this neighborhood. And a few years later, it was an option for us. Like when
Right.
we started to look at houses, it was actually a neighborhood that we could actually afford it. There was a time that we were looking at apartments and it was like we probably were paying like 625 or something. Can you imagine that? If I could pay
Man.
625 today, like add a couple zeros to that now.
Right.
But 625, and I remember us thinking about like we just wanted to level up a little bit, and eight something was a lot. Like to considering like moving
Right.
into an apartment that was $800 or whatever that was, eight something, that was a lot, but it started to just feel a little bit different. You started to see things different, and we were like, okay, this is achievable. Like it's not so out of reach as we thought. And I'm so thankful and grateful for that because it was a lot of years of struggle.
Yeah, for sure. Anything worth having is worth going through something. So those early struggles really paint the picture and help shape, I think, who we are today as a unit and the decisions that we make. Because we sometimes we talk about this back in the day, what it was like during that struggle and how we felt during that struggle.
Yeah.
So, nobody wants to go back to broke,
But
go
also
back to
how,
struggle
right, support of
for
others.
sure.
Because we say a lot, people will call and people will lean on, can I borrow? Can you help me out? And I remember my dad said to me a long time ago, like I don't know, like if I needed help or if somebody needed help, what does that really mean? Helping me isn't to pay my bill for me because that bill is going to come next month. And so then what am I going to do? Like that's not helping me, And
Well,
so we kind of have the same kind of conversations. Like if you have an unforeseen circumstance and you tapped out of your money because this crazy astronomical expense came up, you need like this one-off help thing. But if it's an ongoing repetitive thing with the bill, I'm saying all that to
I was about
say,
to say that because there's a difference between, you just pretty much painted the picture. If somebody asks for help and you help them with a bill because they had something that came
something
up,
came up that they weren't
yeah, then that's
normally
one thing.
expecting.
But
Yeah.
like every single month is something totally different.
Yeah, that's not really helping.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, you need
you
some.
probably your lifestyle need to change. But I'm
Right.
saying that to say our struggle, we didn't have a lot of people that we could call. We didn't want to call and lean on our parents too much because we knew they were trying to do their own thing. So there was a certain amount of hustle that we just knew we had to do and sacrifice. Our electricity has gotten shut off at times
Right.
before. You didn't experience it as much as I did, except for I'm on the phone with you weeping because I would come home and our shit was cut off and I was home with our young son. But it was rough. Like there was some rough times and we didn't always eat what we wanted to eat. We wasn't going out to eat, like just different things. So we definitely know what the struggle is. We know like when they say started from the bottom, like we started from the bottom for real. And again, there wasn't people that we could call and ask. Like nobody was handing us anything. And yeah, so we just kind of look at that a little bit differently. Like certainly want to help people because everybody gets in a situation, but what does that help really look like? And am I really helping you? And what are you doing to help yourselves? And that we were like very conscientious about. Like we ain't dependent on nobody. Like we just got to figure this out. And we did.
I just find it interesting now that I feel like I could be more of a help to somebody mentally instead of just paying their bill that they need help paying their bill or whatever that they're short on cash wise.
Yeah.
Because like you said, that bill's coming the next month. But because I've been there, like I know what that mentality needs to look like, and I can have some conversations that will last long term and help in that person's development to get over the hump, to be able to position themselves to make more money or find a better job or whatever it is, add to a skill set. Like I
Yeah.
feel like I could be more of a value there, but I'm not sure that the person's ready to receive that type of information
Yeah.
versus I just need money to pay
Which is
whatever I'm
why
paying.
it's ultimately not a help because
Right,
most people
right.
just want the hand.
Right.
Some people.
I get it, but to your point, we had to hustle and struggle and figure it out and work multiple jobs and do all type of stuff.
3
You know
a.m.
what I'm
work
saying?
today,
Like,
pay today's that you did for a
yeah,
minute,
I was doing all type of stuff.
all type of stuff.
I was just telling
So
somebody last week that I was working a job where I was canvassing the neighborhood, telling people that their windows were bad. Like, you know, and then you had to set up the appointment. The people come back, and if they sold the windows, that you get a cut of the commission. But in the summertime, you're getting dropped off in a van with like 6 or 7 people, and everybody's walking in the neighborhood ringing doorbells, talking about pointing out people's windows. So the hustle is crazy, and I feel like you can make money if you want to.
yeah.
You just got to get off and go get it.
Right. I think this yields a good opportunity to, because I'm sitting here thinking about the grind and the hustle, and there was definitely some sacrifice. When I think about my situation, just to say thank you to you, because as hard as shit was at some certain periods of time, you never wavered on making sure that Michaela and I were taken care of. Like, you never, not a lazy bone in your body about going out working and making sure that a check came in, that our rent was paid, and that our utilities were paid, even if they were late
Yeah.
early on.
Yeah.
But, and we had, like, we ate. Like, you never wavered on that. And while I worked, I didn't have to get up at 3 a.m. and do,
Right.
I wasn't walking the streets. Like, it never got to that point. Never even did you ask me to do those things. And so thank you.
I appreciate that. Toast to that.
Saying,
We toast to that.
appreciate that, and just know that that does not go unrecognized.
Thank you, babe.
Like, on a for real note.
Appreciate it.
How do we support each other's dreams today?
How do you support my dreams?
I would say I'm very supportive of your dreams. There's not a thing that you have desired to do that I have not been in your corner and said, go on and do it. If it was our last $500 that you wanted to invest in something, to try something out, whether it's stuck with it or not, it was like, no risk, no reward. Like, that's how I've just always thought about things. And I think I've always been supportive of you in that way. I think I've always also, because of your leadership skills and ability, and because of your tenacity, because of your ambition, because of your work ethic, there's no doubt in my mind that the things that you do for other companies, you couldn't do for yourself. And so I've also tried to encourage and support you in that way, in terms of, like, you don't have to work for somebody else. That's not really been your lane, but I just see that for you. I mean, it is a little bit like you've dibbled and dabbled in it. Like, there's something still that's holding you back. I think the comfort, the safety of, which really, when we think about it, isn't really safety, because you could be
right.
that you could be hammered at
Right.
any
The
time.
higher you go up, the money's good, but that safety, the safety piece of it, you know, CEOs could be let go at any given time for
Exactly.
whatever reason. You know?
Exactly.
It's not like you have a union backing you or anything like that that people might be a part of.
So I think I've been very supportive of you in that way. Even this situation, you coming here a year prior to me coming, just this space. It wasn't the job that I was concerned about, it was the state that I was concerned about. And I had so many apprehensions about that. And it was just a very tough transition for me, for you to come here and then us eventually come here. That was a big thing to me, but I knew that I couldn't fight that because I knew you wanted that. You know, I was never going to tell you, I don't want you to go or not to go. I may have questioned your why and are you sure? And, you know, it's this and that and the other. I may have given you all the reasons to consider or reconsider, but I never said don't go or I don't want you to go. And ultimately, you're here and you made that decision, and here we are. So that's how I would say. It's just seeing the bigger picture and not holding you back from what you ultimately want to do.
Got you. No, I appreciate that. My nose is running and it's going. You got a microphone on?
I can't.
No, because it's gonna pop up on there.
I mean, I got all kind of things going on. My underarms is sweating.
Right, and you just keep talking.
I didn't know what to do.
I was like, I can't even get a word in. You just kept going and going and going. But no, I appreciate that. And you did support me greatly in this transition and really what that looks like for me. And as far as you, I've always been supportive of whatever you wanted to do, but I've also said too that my goal ultimately was to retire you and not have you work. So whatever goal it is that you have, and you've mentioned a boutique, you've mentioned a coffee shop, like all of these things that you've mentioned, go for it. I'm supportive of you being able to do that. Now, from an operation standpoint, I might have some pointers because we wanted to be successful and you want to obviously make enough to pay bills and whatnot. And this is a coffee shop area anyway. There's a lot of coffee shops and things going on in some boutiques and whatever. As long as you're happy, then it's all good. So we've been very supportive of each other and whatever we want to do. So
Yeah, thank you for that. How do we define success together now?
How do we define success together now? I think just our mindset. Our mindset is different than what it was when we were younger. Yes, we've had some success with work, but relationship wise, I think we look at things differently. We value things differently. And not to mention, we have an opportunity to pour back into our son to help him navigate those 20s that we had to navigate. It's almost like looking back and being able to mentor somebody else on the road you've already traveled, although it's a little different with his aspirations and whatnot. I think just the maturity of being in a relationship for so long and being able to see so much and done so much and accomplished so much and dropped the ball at places and had some struggles at places. Once you work through those things, you tap into a relationship that is mature and you don't sweat the small stuff anymore.
Do you think that since we define success differently from your perspective, that causes friction then?
I don't think so. You're still in the individual. Like you still got to respect an individual. So although we may not agree on stuff, heck, nobody agrees on everything. I don't know what percentage you would put on it, but people don't agree with stuff. You're an individual like me, so you got to respect it though. So although I may not agree, I respect your opinion and your way of thinking, and we have those conversations. But I don't
Yeah.
feel like I need to persuade you to think like I think. You know what I mean?
I'm a persuader, and I want people to
I
think
don't. I
like
don't feel like I
think.
want to persuade you, right?
Yes.
But I just want to hear it out and understand it. I'm listening to understand. I'm not listening to respond.
We're gonna get a cap. We
Oh
need a
boy,
cap. So
we need to
that
get one
way,
of them flags, man.
yes,
Start throw the flag, man.
exactly. So if we have a blue cap, I can just put the cap down. Because that is not true.
I
But
think so.
okay,
I
that's
think
your,
so.
of course, of course,
You
of
know,
course
that's
you
one of the
do.
things
Of
we
course
agree to
you do. We
disagree.
agree to disagree. He listens to understand. Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's my lens on that? How we describe or would describe success now? For me, and I say this to you a lot, it's about having some money in the bank, having investment, retirement, and the ability, my thing is traveling. Like I want to travel. And so having those three things in order is what success looks like to me.
Okay.
And yes, so that's how I would define success. I would also say that thinking about some of those things, even that I just said, just made me think, and I thought about this the other day. This is a little side note, but I was thinking about like manifestation and gratitude and how grateful I am for the opportunities, as much as I had some reservations about some different steps along the way and the path and the way things shook out. I remember again envisioning certain things and thinking, about certain things in a certain light. And they came to pass, really. Our experience, we talked about being on the water. We're right here on Lake Michigan. But
Right.
it is a beautiful lake, I have to admit. But also the experiences that we have been able to acquire here, I don't know that we would have gotten them at home. The places
Right.
that we're going, the people that we're meeting, the tables that we're able to have dinners with now, especially you, is just like, I don't think that was even possible at home. We have
Yeah.
some really good
It's interesting.
friends that we're making some really good
Yeah.
friends and connections who are good people.
But-
Something, it's just acquired us a different life than we had before.
So for the folks listening and for the people who have dreams and aspirations, a couple of things I'll say. Again, this is all from experience. You don't have to know what the next step is in order for you to move, right? Or you don't have to see the whole staircase, I should say. You could take the next step. You take it one step at a time. And so what will happen is not only will doors open up for you and things will move forward, but also you will bump into people who will help usher you into that next step. I'm bumping into people that I've never thought that I'd be bumping into, having dinner with other CEOs of companies and different things that I couldn't dream of, right? But these people are having great conversations. And it's interesting how God will put people in your path, even if just for a season, to have good conversations, to tell you what you need to hear, to confirm some stuff, to introduce you to somebody else that could help do things in your life. Like, it just happens. It will happen organically. And that's when you know you're where you're supposed to be. So don't be afraid to take that next step when you don't know what the whole plan is or how you're going to be successful, how you're going to make money. If you just got a thought in your head about starting a business, just start the business. Just move. Go to the next step. And the rest will fall in line. And that's about as simple as I can put it.
It's so interesting that you say just start a business. Like, if it were that simple, we would all have especially in our community.
You just have
like
to
it
move.
sounds good, but like you mentioned, there's some things that I would love to do. If it were that simple, I would do it. And there's some steps that I have taken, and then I've kind of paused
Here's
on
what you
some
do.
of those things.
Here's what you do. LLC. You can get an LLC for $100, right? $130 if you want to add some other things. But $130, you can get you an LLC. Start with that. It's an idea. You solidify it. Once it comes back, use ChatGPT. I listened to somebody who said that ChatGPT or AI will make a lot of millionaires, primarily because it will make the plans for you. It will lay out step by step what you need to do. Now, what you need to do is be able to follow those steps. Part of when we say it's easy to start a business, it is easy. We get in our own ways of being lazy and being self-conscious and not knowing the full picture of how it's all going to work. That's what stops people from moving. But if you just do it one step at a time, nobody says you had to have a time limit on it, but just take the next step. And guess what? AI is laying that out for everybody. So if you could follow directions and follow the plan that AI is listing out, you'll be much better off. You don't have to think about it. You put it in what you want to do, it'll draw the plans out and tell you step by step what you need to do. You follow those steps. If you don't do nothing else, follow the damn steps. Because you're going to end up a year from now, you'll be a lot further along than you were before, closer to having your own thing. Like, it could happen. I'm telling you, it could happen. You have to believe in yourself first, regardless of what everybody else says. And the other thing is, don't tell anybody your plans. Keep it close to the chest. Don't tell them, just execute.
That's the best piece of advice right there, is don't tell people. And I tell Michael that all the time, because even in the best intentions, there are doubters and naysayers that put that negativity in the atmosphere that can pause and halt your agenda. And so, like, the best intentions, but they want to, be careful and tiptoe around stuff. And that negativity just puts a whole different damper on what you're trying to do. So anyway, that does it for another episode. Thanks for watching, listening. Please like, subscribe, share, and also comment. Like, I would love to engage with you. Lounging, probably way too much. So I would love to engage. The interaction is good. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us what's happening in your world, in your relationships, and how you balance some of these things, especially in the long-term relationships, because it's not easy. No matter how long, like I thought at least, like after a certain period, I remember somebody said, like, after 5 years, like the first 5 years are the hardest years. So not true. Our first 5 years was hard. Our second 5 years was hard.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
Yeah, marriage isn't easy. But let me say this too. It's rewarding. It's not easy, but it is rewarding. But I also believe in being able to speak what you want and what you need and talk to folks about that. And I've gotten better at, especially when I'm in rooms and I'm talking to people about anything. And so I'll throw this out there for the community that's listening, is that we need some help even with this podcast. The beginning of our podcast, we'd like to be able to have some sort of intro and outro. And neither one of us is at that point where we can design and do all of that. So if you're out there and you're listening, or you know people that can edit a podcast and build that intro and outro for us, let us know. I'd be interested in having that conversation, because we definitely need that to make this a little bit smoother. And as we start to continue to build this thing,
You can help edit too.
yeah, as we continue to build this thing, we want it to look better and have seamless transition and all of that stuff. So who's out there? Okay. We
Thanks,
appreciate
everyone.
y'all.
Peace.
Peace. Okay. You putting on some warmer clothes to go to the stove?
Let's check out these underarms.